Morning. I hope you're having a beautiful morning so far. And as you can see, Bliss.
Yeah.
As you can see, Bliss is
I think I came into your shot briefly. But good morning.
You announced yourself.
Yeah. I didn't actually know it was unintentional. But good morning to our cherished viewers, those of you watching from far and near. We thank you so much for your time this morning on Good Morning Africa. This is the newspaper headlines segment of the show. We get to throw in a little bit of opinion after we look at the front pages of the newspapers to see the stories that are trending. Well, I want to say good morning to my friend and senior way back in senior high school, Emmanuel. He gifted me the shoes I'm wearing.
Please, can you zoom into the shoes?
He gifted me this.
Can we zoom in
this
on the
Fendi
shoes?
Can Promise like shoes that
Terminator like shoes.
This Can Promise like shoes that I'm wearing. Thank you so much, Ima, for this gift. I'm extremely grateful.
And so it's another beautiful morning, several issues for conversation. But the most interesting story, which, since yesterday has been going on, is the filing for the presidential candidates nomination for the various political parties. And we saw some of the events that transpired at the Electoral Commission office or Commissioner's office, and we saw that 8 candidates had filed their nomination, including Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Unfortunately, the flag bearer for the NDC couldn't make it, but the important people in the party made their way there to represent him and present to the EC the nomination requirement as they should. However, there was something that interests me concerning the requirement for running for the presidential seat. The Constitution dictates some requirements, which includes that you should be 40 years and above.
Yes.
You should be of sound mind, among others. But the EC have also added this. The EC has added this, and I mean, there are conversations around it, and we would like to hear from our viewers what they think about this whole event of filing nomination. And even with the nomination fee, one presidential candidate came out to say that he couldn't pay in a single tranche, so he wanted an installment. He has a payment plan.
Interesting.
It was quite interesting, and I think it was a bold attempt to make such a request of the EC. And it was very interesting. That was Kofi Akpaloo.
Oh, wow. Wow. It's not the first time he's contesting elections here in Ghana.
At all.
He did, I think, in 2020. He did in 2016 as well. But away from the filing, we are still on election 2024, and the National Democratic Congress, they have been raising some concerns with regards to the voters register. The former president, John Dramani Mahama, who is also flag bearer of the party heading into this election, has been saying on several campaign platforms that, look, there are lots of anomalies with the voters register. You go to some polling stations, and you go check your name, you realize that you've been transferred without your authorization, without you having any sort of knowledge about it. You've been transferred to another region. So for instance, you vote in Ayawa, so West Wuogon, let's say around the mosque. You go check and then you realize that you are now voting in Chiripone or Telikobo Bukazo or Nyankmanduri. So this is a real issue. I think there's been some admission from the Electoral Commission with regards to these anomalies. And so the NDC, they have asked their party faithfuls and their sympathizers to demonstrate on the 17th of this month. I think that should be
across the country.
So that should be next week, to demand for an audit of the voters register in order to ensure that every anomaly that's in there is righted. So that's with what's going on as far as election 2024 is concerned.
People are asking if this, if there's an alternative that has been put out there, that why don't they take it to court rather than insisting that the EC conducts a forensic audit with the voters register?
So, well, that's a good question. I don't know the reason for which they haven't yet taken it to court. Maybe after this, when the EC defies, when the EC ignores their pleas on 17th September, maybe they may decide that.
But the call has been in the public domain for the longest
time. So let's see. One of the ways to addressing issues, of course, is through demonstrations. Of course, we have the courts as well. So maybe the courts will be a last resort. If they fail with the protest, then they may have to resort to the court to seek redress. And so let's see how that happens.
Interesting. Especially when the EC has admitted to several anomalies.
Yeah, there are issues. There are issues with the register. For instance, so when you go to the Afajatu South constituency, there's a part called Vuli. Is it Afajatu? That should be part of the Hohwe constituency. There's a part called Vuli. That's where the longest waterfalls in West Africa is. And the people who live in that enclave are not the total population, not the voter population. The total population of the people over there are no more than 600. Now, you go look at the voters register of that polling station, of that polling area. It's about 2,000 something. Where are the 1,400 people coming from? And even it should even be way less, because that is the entire population. It means that you have children who are less than 18. You have juveniles over there. So it means that it should be way less. It should be having somewhere around 400 or 300 something people, but you have 2,000.
Maybe the EC's intention is to lessen the pressures that will be mounted in some electoral areas. But is that the case? Do you do it without people's consents by transferring their vote to places they know?
Let me tell you. Let me tell you what there's in government. Okay, I studied something in government back in senior high school called gerrymandering.
No, gerrymandering.
Yes. So that is, you manipulate the boundaries of an electoral area. You understand, in order to favor a certain political party. Now, these are some of the things that allegedly these members of parliament do. So, for instance, you have a stronghold of the National Democratic Congress. Okay. And I'm sorry that I'm using the NDC as an example. It doesn't mean that the NDC practices it, but maybe not. Or the NPP. I'll use another example.
Bernard Mone's party.
Oh, okay. Or maybe Afafranto.
Okay, movement for change.
So let's say, for instance, Kofi Akpalu's LPG. I'll use Kofi Akpalu.
Okay.
Kofi Akpalu's LPG has a parliamentary candidate in Ayawaso West Wogon. Ayawaso West Wogon is a stronghold of Kofi Akpalu, of Kofi Akpalu's candidates. They've held in the elections since '92. They have never lost, and they win by some very huge margins. Say 20,000 votes. They could finish out of 60,000 voters. They could get like 42,000, and then his opponent gets like 18,000. That's so much. So do you know what happens? Let's say Kofi Akpalu has another candidate at Ewutu Senya West. Ewutu Senya West is a stronghold of another party, say AGYEKUM. Now, Kofi Akpalu wants to have parliamentary representation in that constituency. So what does he do? He picks a chunk, about 10,000 of the people here at Ayawaso West Wogon, passes them to Ewutu Senya West. They register over there and they vote over there in order to increase the numbers of his candidates over there. So he's winning there and he's winning here. So that is what gerrymandering is. And so that may have
But is that done through the right processes by manipulating the voters register?
What is the right processes? So thing is, these political parties, they know. These MPs, and the MPs, a lot of them do it. A lot of them do it. They bus people from some other communities all the time to their constituencies to come and register over there.
Oh.
Yes, they do it.
Yeah.
And the busing is not because the people are from that place, and so they are helping them get. No. They just want to appreciate their votes over there. So that's what they do. That's gerrymandering.
It's interesting. Interesting.
You understand
the kind of activities that go on within the political space. But yesterday I was listening to the flag bearer for that's Dr. Ayariga, Alhassan Ayariga.
APC.
APC. Yeah. And he raised a certain interesting concern with regards to the refund of the filing fee when you are able to hit a certain margin or when you're able to make a certain percentage with the votes that you garner. And he said that the, let me say, inferior parties, the other parties apart from the MPP.
Say smaller, don't say inferior. The smaller parties.
The other parties, apart from the MPP and the NDC, are cheated on because they don't get to get their money. That means all the time the MPP and the NDC are refunded.
No, but they've given you the conditions that make a certain percentage. If you're able to get 5% and above.
But the EC also has to be realistic. Because we know that we know that here in Ghana it's all about MPP or
no, wait, so you knew that it's all about MPP and NDC and you came to invest your 100,000
no, they have the right. They have the right to.
So you have the right
to make that difference.
Wait, Ohema.
Or to dissolve the duopoly.
Ohema, see, the Electoral Commission of Ghana spends resources,
of course,
on printing of ballot pieces of ballot papers.
Yeah.
The longer the ballot paper, the more money
the more
has been invested into it. You know you will not win. You know we have a duopoly. You know you won't get the 5%. So why did you go and pay 100,000 cedis to contest and hope for a refund?
That condition can be revised for the purposes of the other parties.
Why?
Looking at
the whole goal of the Electoral Commission is to trim down the numbers.
Yeah.
You understand? If you have 100,000 cedis and you are coming to file as a presidential candidate of any political party, then you know the risk involved. You know that you are coming to file for it and then your money is gone. And the EC says, oh, I want to find a way of trimming down the numbers because so many people for certain, in quotes, purposes, they know they are not going to win it, but for some reasons they decide
just
that.
Like we're talking about the other, that the major political parties intentionally employ these people to just come.
You know you won't win it, but you are coming. You are wasting the Electoral Commission's time, and you want the EC to refund you. No,
but at least like a percentage of what's the total.
I disagree.
It's like,
I disagree.
I feel for them.
I disagree.
Do feel for them.
For me, even the refund for any political party, I think is even nobody deserves a refund. Hey.
Yes. I was even shocked on hearing that they are refunded.
Oh, so that's the practice. If you've been able to make a certain, I think it's 5%.
No, but the filing fee is for to put you in that space and to give you.
No, I also think that if you've been able to make 5%, then the EC there's that sort of encouragement that should be given you. Say, oh, you've tried, you've done well.
But so why does the voting make money for the EC?
No.
So that's the same monies they use in conducting electoral processes.
Yes, no, but the EC has a budget on its own. It's not even about they taking money from the political parties. It has they have their own budget. I think they take from the consolidated fund or so.
No, but it doesn't make sense to me. It's like you going to school, then you go and pay huge or some colossal amounts to the law, and then the condition is that when you make first class, your money will be refunded.
Or when you pass, your money.
No, it doesn't make any sense to me.
To some extent, but I understand.
It doesn't make any sense.
I understand the motivation behind it, and also to show you that if you know you are not going to win it, don't waste your time.
Okay, I get it. It's also to deter people who are going to. Just make a name for themselves.
To discourage.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Ayariga, you have your money. You say you want to lead this. So wait, he doesn't think you make the 5%.
He was very, sentimental about the whole thing.
So which means that he knows he won't make the 5%. So why are you going to contest?
No, so he said he feels that the other parties are being taken advantage, or they are at a disadvantage.
Why is he at a disadvantage?
Because
he knows
they don't even make the
so why are you going? You make the 5%, so why are you going? You know you are not going to get the 5%, so you are going to waste everybody's time. You are going to spend. You are spending your resources. Yeah. You are going to do campaign. Spend several thousands of cedis, maybe millions of cedis. He doesn't even spend millions of cedis.
That's 100,000 cedis for the filing fee.
You are not spending that much because you know you won't win. Then you go and file in hoping that you will not make the 5%, but still EC would refund.
Yes, and one thing that baffles my mind is the fact that these parties know their stats.
Yes,
they know what is
your level.
Exactly.
Yes,
because someone like AGYEKUM, someone like Kofi Akpaloo, they've been in this race for the longest time.
Yes,
and
they know they won't win.
So why do they use that money? Because it was on Twitter. Yes, it was on X, formerly called Twitter, that they should invest this money into, small scale businesses, youth employment, among other things.
Give that money to me.
To start a business or something.
Give me 100,000 cedis. Then after, I'll sleep on the floor for you. Meda for my man. You come easy.
And
to advance your own political whatever.
I mean, the third best performed in the last election was 3%.
That is GUM.
3%.
GUM. Great Union Movement. GUM.
I am thinking of 25%.
Please, if you don't refund them.
I think these things should be reconsidered. These are like some of the things we overlook here in this country, but it's a serious issue. You go and pay this amount of money to the Electoral Commission, knowing very well
it is their own money, and then
that the chunk of Ghanaians, the majority of Ghanaians tilt towards just two political parties, either the MPP or the NDC.
I'm all for breaking the duopoly.
Of course,
put in the work.
But what is our reality? That's what we are talking about.
It's not even about the reality. I mean, put in the work. Let it be evident. Make the numbers. But you just can't sit down 4 years. You won't do anything. And when it's time for election,
I just hope that this time it will be different. We are going to see some surprises pull up in our coming election, and that maybe the third force or the movement for change or any other political party will, give us the shock of our.
I sincerely don't see that happening. Well, so this is my prediction for.
I mean, shock in terms of surpassing the 3%. Yes.
So this is my prediction for the 2020. I feel like the NDC and NPP are going to share some 90% of the votes. 90. The remaining 10 would go to the other parties. And I'm saying that I'm giving 10% is huge.
Yeah.
10% is huge. And I'm saying 10% because you have Alan Chairmanting, who is making some inroads there.
Yeah.
But I'm being realistic. I love Alan Chairmanting, fine gentleman, fine brains. But I'm being realistic, and what the history of elections here in Ghana have been. Alan Chairmanting, Cheddar, who is a lot of the youth, some of the youth.
Gen Z, the Gen Z president.
Yes. So, Alan, Cheddar, GUM. GUM actually was placed third in the last year. GUM, CPP, PNC, Bernard Mona's PNC. I see them sharing these five parties sharing 10%. I'm not going to say that this is going to get 2% out of the.
I'm going to do the distribution.
I'm just saying that 10% for them. So 90, you understand? And I'll be surprised if any of them makes the 5% mark. If any of them makes the 5%, I'll be very much surprised.
That will give us that will be an indication to the fact that Ghanaians are thinking differently now.
They are coming out. It will be a little step.
Or maybe the new voters, they tilt more towards the Gen Z presidents.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's see. But I also predict that a lot of people, the voter turnout will be low.
I feel like it depends. I don't think so.
To me, that from the way I see things and
the
from
voter turnout.
kind of conversations I've had with people,
I feel like the voter turnout to be low from a certain political party.
Which is?
I would say. The voter turnout to be low there.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah. Some political party.
Some political party.
Below there.
Please,
you don't want to open this morning.
Me too about you. Me too about me too be. Oh my no, enye ozena Kufuado are disappointed. Mama so enye ntino. You know the people come to America Kufuado no but me na on to because she's tired, he or she's tired, and of course you never vote for John Dramani or Hamilton in there. Debate nephew.
I mean, with regards to
that happened in 2016.
With regards to being indifferent about political issues and whether or not to vote, there's a quote from Plato. I think you might have chanced it on
I know Plato.
Is that no the post itself? Maybe you might not have seen it on my status. It says that the price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men.
Oh, of course.
So if you like this year, don't
vote.
Don't vote. If you like this year, don't vote.
People will take decisions for you.
We'll take that was the advice. I think when I came here at first, we were having this conversation, and you told me that you can't allow anybody to make a decision for you.
Yeah.
You have to make the decision.
Yeah. You may think your vote is just one, but that's all that is.
Difference.
Yes, that's all. 50% plus one.
You may be that plus one.
That's all that's required.
And that's the mentality we should all be having in terms of.
You can't just sit down and put your hand in your deputy fame and say that.
You don't care
because the Sampo and NDC and NPP are the same. So go and vote for a different political party. Simple as if they are the same. Try something else. Try Bernard Mona. Try Gum.
Cheddar.
Try Cheddar. Try Alan Chermantin. Any of them. If you think you vote for
Alan Chermantin is there. Cheddar is there. You can try.
But don't just say you vote. Your vote matters.
It does. It does
matter. Yeah. Let's look at the front pages of the newspapers. We've shared opinions. Time as soon.
I mean, that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point.
Course.
This is why we have cursory looks at the at some of the topical issues. But the newspaper review segment will bring you in-depth conversation on our selected topics that have been tabled for discussion. Let's do the inside newspaper. Can we have the inside newspaper? All right. Let me just do it from here. It says that Galamsey, how Ghana's gold is turning into quicksand beneath the Fourth Republic. Also, James Army of Women storms Orange Friday Street Carnival in Cape Coast. SMG Youth Wing condemns us U.S. interference in Venezuelan election, vows on ending support in fight against imperialism, oppression, others. The People's Manifesto, MPP's Arthur Kennedy right. The Inside newspaper for just 4 Ghana cedis. Grab a copy or log on to the InsideNewsOnline.com.
What do we have next? Right, we have the Daily Statesman newspaper. The banner headline says momentum on our side. Bawumia charges MPP to intensify campaign for decisive victory. We've transformed judiciary. Kufuado MPP urged to act against recalcitrant members, and Ghana Gas Boss urges prompt implementation of Gas Act. That's all for the Daily Statesman.
Let's do the Hawk newspaper. Says explosive report: 72% of tanker drivers on slave wages. NSMQ, a harmful show, claims insane's rich love. Your girl. Otiko accuses Ghana of gender bias. Also, Kwabe, CID unveils new clinic headquarters for Tabosre. Tabosre. Alan shuts door on NPP for good. No way back, Ross Ohene in tow. The Hawk newspaper.
Right, we have the ABC News. Bawumia confident of 2024 victory as he files nomination form. MPP's dedication to preserving public sector employment despite IMF program commendable. University Dawn. Ghanaians will decide whether they prefer a cleaning agent or government official. One, President Kufuado. Right, that's all for the ABC News.
Let's do more stories on the front page of the Daily Graphic. EC must act with impartiality. President Kufuado, 8 filed presidential nomination forms. Also, 3 arrested for ballot box snatching related to the Wale MPP parliamentary run.
Right. Finally, let's do the business analyst newspaper. It says, we lack political will to fight galamsey. Former Minerals Commission CEO assets T-bill yields remain high. Government's heavy borrowing on domestic market continues. Cocoa Board announces new cocoa prices September 10. Ghana has saved over 15 trillion Ghana cedis in judgment debts, and industrialization and green development. Ikufo-Addo calls for stronger China-Africa cooperation. That's all for the business analyst newspaper.
Alright, so that'll be all for our newspaper headlines for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and you know that the newspaper review is in full swing, and you can add your voice to the conversations on Facebook. We are live on YouTube as well. You can watch us live on there and just send a message. The numbers will be displayed while the conversation is ongoing. You can just kindly send your message and be a part of the conversation as well. My name is AGYEKUM.
Mine is Coco Alomaso.
All right, we'll see you on the other side. Ciao.
Fix My Ride Company Limited makes customers feel good and proud. Fix My Ride Company Limited has experts who fix accident cars, making them look like brand new